Hi all, at last the sun is out, the sky is blue and it looks like we might have some good weather the next few days. So I'm going to get on now and fit the experimental front wing to my car with the load sensor and all that stuff. So hopefully then tomorrow, if the sun stays out, I could go out and see if it works or not. It'd be great if some of you would actually put predictions of how much downforce this wing's going to create in the comments. I didn't have many people do that on the first video of this series, so I thought I'd just give you a minute to put something in the comments now. So, got the kettle on, I'm going to make myself a cup of coffee, and because it's nearly Easter, it's time for a hot cross bun. And I'll give you a minute just to put your prediction in there. Oh, bollocks. Just as I start drinking my nice coffee, the postman arrives and puts this through the door. Well, there we go. I've not had one of these for a long time. I owned an Evo for 10 years and didn't have a single point on my license. The trouble with this car, it accelerates so fast, I need to be super careful, and I guess a kick up the arse with this just reminds me to be super careful and do the over 70 on track days, not up the M27. By defence, I only went along one junction on about, well, 2 miles I guess. Well, that's no defence, is it? Bollocks. Okay, there we go. Let's get on with this front wing thing. So I'm all set up now just to do the calibration. I'm going to have my GoPro camera on there, pointing at the screen, and then on an old phone I'll have a GPS speedo on. So hopefully we can read that back to see what it's doing. The first thing I need to do is go through this calibration thing. So I've just woke it all up, and we have to put tar complete. That's like it makes sure that's like the zeroing for no weight. So we've got a weight here that I've just put on the kitchen scales. It's 4.4 kilos. So I tell this 4.4, enter, no mass is 4.4. New calibration, yep, we want to save that. Okay, and that's now telling me we've got 4.4 kilos. I'll have a look at the screen on here, telling me 4.4, ah, there we are, 4.4. So what I'll do is I'll take that off and make sure it tells us 0, because we're not going to have the laptop. Yep, so that tells me 0. I'm just going to fish out a couple of other lumps of lead I've got to put on just to double check. Alright, so I've got a couple of other ones that's 3.9. So if we put our 4.4 back on, reading 4.4 again, so we'll add our 3.9 onto the wing. That's about right, isn't it? Because what do we say, 4.4 plus 3.9, according to my maths, that's pretty well right. So I'm happy with that. What I've got to do is keep the power on, because unfortunately I haven't worked out with this program yet how to keep the calibration numbers in when it loses power. So I can see myself. Yeah, so I just need to take that up and then go for a steady drive up the motorway. Wow. Unless I was misreading the little gauges as going along, I'll have a look at it in the video. It was a bit disappointing. Looks like I'm not Adrian Newey after all. I'll look back at the video and see if I can work out anything from it, but it seems that my design Mark 1 is probably a total failure. Well, that test clearly didn't go as well as I hoped. Am I going to give up? Of course I'm not going to give up. One of the advantageous traits of having autism is I tend to be pretty bloody stubborn. And if I've set my mind to trying to do something, I'll keep going pretty well until it works. On the CAD, I've done a bit of a redesign. The idea being is to make it much more pronounced. So this was one I did earlier, and that from the centre line to the tip of there was about 25 mil. So I've redesigned it now. So that is a much bigger kick up, and that goes to about 60 mil up from the centre line. I've also slotted these much bigger so as I can sort of change the angle of attack more. And because the print time is so long, the print time on this one is about 5 hours. I'm doing it half the thickness, so it's 100 mil or wide, whatever you want to call it. It's 100 mil where the others are 200. That way I can kind of prototype it, stick it on the car, see what the results are, and if it works, that's a big if it works, print it out bigger, or maybe print it almost modular, so as I'll have maybe put some form of dowel kind of thing in there so as I can print several 100 mil sections. Right, just kicked the printer off and it's just doing the very initial layer to get going. So sometime later I'll bolt that back on the car. Well, it's going to be tomorrow now. I'll bolt it on the car and have another go at seeing what it does. Okay, so I'm back out in the garage again with Wing Mark 2. As you can see, I've printed it so it's 100 mil sort of wide. So because it still took about, I don't know, 3 hours or something to print that. So I thought if I can kind of get the shape right and then think about printing it bigger or making it bigger somehow. So you might notice my deliberate mistake here. So I've actually printed it out the wrong side. Yeah, so the end plate's going to be on the inside. But for just doing this test, I'm not too worried about that. I mean, I believe these end plates help a little bit because they stop air spilling over the edge. But obviously from what we saw on the last test for this wing is it was so ineffective. You know, if that made 10, you know, I need to get hundreds of % better, not a few %. So I'm going to fit this one on. It's going to be quite diddy on there. And then hopefully, as it's lovely out there, have another quick little run out. So that's Mark 2 wing bolted on. You can see from the side where it's got a much sort of higher profile. figures in for obviously the Mark 1 and the Mark 2 that I've got off the video, and then equalised them both as if they were the same length, but then also looked at it as if that's the length I can do if I print them full size. And I'm starting to get, so obviously the ones up here above 80 are calculated. From my understanding, it works on a square, so every time you double the speed you square the downforce. So as the speed goes up, obviously you start getting quite large increases. And we're getting a reasonable level, so track days, a lot of track days I'm getting up to the 100, 120. So starts in, considering there's about 200 kilos on the front wheels of the car, so we're starting getting up where I'm sort of 10-15% increase in force. I was kind of hoping for a bit more than that, but I think what I should do now is I should print out a bigger version of the Mark II and remeasure and see where we go from there. So that concludes part 2 of my videos. I'm not sure if part 2 will be the last part or no. I suspect I'll be kind of revisiting this subject, but I'll design longer versions of these, probably 100 mil, that I can then put dowels in to connect together. So there may be another video on this later. I haven't quite made up my mind yet. But so far it's been an interesting little project. Obviously learned a little bit more Arduino programming and starting to learn a whole lot about wings and the fact that they're a bit trickier to design than I thought they would be at first. I'd be very interested to be able to have a little experiment like this with any that are bought. You know, these ones you sort of see on eBay for not very much money, but you've no idea if they actually work or not. If anyone's got any of those and fancies either sticking this lot on their car, or I don't know, we can sort something out. I want to do a little bit of experimenting. But give me a shout, and we might be able to sort something out. Anyway, that's it for now. Catch you all later. Hi, thanks for getting to the end of the video. If you're not already subscribed, please do so now. Just hit the subscribe button and then hit the bell button, and that way YouTube will tell you when there's any new videos. We've got some big plans ahead for the channel, including possibly a car build from scratch. So if you want to get involved with that, now's the time to subscribe. Cheers then, bye.